Hey everyone, it's Char from Char's Fascination, and what am I so fascinatedly bringing you today? Well, I am working on a mock-up for a bandeau design. Now, bandeau designs are very different. There are different styles of what's called a bandeau or a bamboo. There is one that's like a tube top. There's ones that have the pieces that come up here. And this is what I'm doing today. I think it'll be cute. We will be working on other styles of bandeau. And so that you know, I had, and if you've been with me long enough, you know I had some of this fabric left over. And I was going to say, okay, it's just scrap, but there was more than enough, right? So we're going to bring this over here to the machine. And I'm actually using the stand that I use normally for my tablet, right? And since the internet is down right now, and I don't have use of that, and it won't pair with this device for some odd reason, we won't go into that. And so, okay, let me make sure I have this in the correct stitch. Indeed I do. Although I have thought about using a zigzag stitch from time to time, I'm not going to switch my stitch. Switching my stitch. So, as a lot of you may know, when I sew, I tend to do it rather quickly. And sometimes I'm really silent when I sew. And there's nothing wrong with that. Now see, I can talk to you and which is always fabulous or fantabulous. By the time you see this video, another video will be up, and this week, I'm not going to say his video will be up about it, but this week I had mailed to Rich Lux. Go check him out. Love him so much. So I finally got to mail out to him. Oh, so by the time you see this video, the other video about it, and some shit that went down, I did not bother with the mail carrier in this one location because they were being racist now. And you know how I feel about that. So I'm going to finish sewing these pieces. We will come back, and I forgot to have the camera over here now. Sometimes I have it over here, but today I have it over here. So we will be right back with that. Now we are down to, not the very last, but for this part, yes, for this side of it. So when I am done stitching on this side, of course, you know, I will show it to you. But in the meantime, it's like a lot of us really haven't been on a lot lately. I think it's because there's just so much BS and propaganda going on anymore that we just kind of like, Our views are going down. Our watch time, I know mine are. You guys know I had 500 subscribers and now it's lower than that. I've lost 6 subscribers. But you know what? I don't really care. I don't. By the way, I'm not wearing any foundation. I'm not. I said in previous video. I am am, however, wearing something that I made. You may have seen this if you've been with my channel long enough. So, sorry, I went silent for a minute. I had to concentrate there. Now, I've watched some people sew and then they just basically, I've seen some people sew and they basically put their hand in the way of the piece right here. Now, I've done that once and it hurts like a biatch. It really does hurt. So when you're sewing or beginner sewer, do not put your hands like this to push your fabric. And you can do that on one side. Let me bring you down here. So if you're basically gonna do that, what you want to do is, let's hope this doesn't fall. Anyway, what you're going to do when you're sewing is make sure that you're doing it this way. The point here on the end of your presser foot is your indication of where your nail needs to stop so that the needle does not go through your finger. Don't ever put your hand over the top of the presser foot. That is super, super important. Because like I said, I see a lot of people going like, trust me, I used to do that until I hit my finger. And I realized, you know what? Basically, fabric feeds itself through. Remember that. That is a basic rule of don't smash your thumb. Don't be dumb. Don't smash your thumb. Anyway, no, a lot of people don't know that when they're first starting out. It's not dumb. It's just like, it's a learning curve. Speaking of curve, let me show you so far what we got here. Now, reminding you, I'm not done with this yet. Okay? And then I will be folding back the fabric, right? We fold back that fabric and make it so it's so very even. And then when we do that, we have our sewing clips, which are great. You can find these on Amazon. That is where I got mine. And when you go to do the front part here, oh, I didn't get it. And remember, to be trendy and trendy, clip the thread. Serious. So I'm gonna show you right here how I will clip this down. Now you're like, but wait, what about that part? Okay, yes, now when we go to do this part, what we're going to do is fold it like that. Just go ahead and fold it. Okay? And then what you do is you take a fabric clip, and what you're going to do is just, you're going to go like that. That's it. That's what you're going to do to hold that right there. And then, of course, clip it along the side. Now what I'm going to do is I will be right back after I get the other side sewn on. We can go ahead and take these off here until then. We'll be back with that though. Okay, now that we're back, I'm going to put this one on here because, like, you know, you have to check these as you go. And I do that. Let me put my sister. I still love these. Aren't they the bestest? A lot of people that sew, a lot of seamstresses actually have these scissors, and they're fabulous. I have more than one pair, but I mostly just use those ones. Okay, now that I have let's see, 2, 4, 5 of the panels sewn together. This is the last panel to be sewn on, and like I said, mosquito bite central. Like, holy nopes! Like, there's just too many. You know what my problem is with, like, there's too many mosquitoes. There's not enough bats left in the world. Did you know that? There aren't enough bats left in the world, and bats are what help to keep down the bug and rodent population. If you didn't know that, you do now. You do now, because I'll try to inform you on that. But yeah, let's check how much of a distance in between on those. Yeah, so I am like one of those seamstresses that it likes to be extremely precise. If I'm sewing something for someone or for myself, sometimes it's not always precise on my own, and then I'm like, screw it, I'm gonna wear it anyway. That's just me. But that's just me. Okay, anyway. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to finish clipping this together. Okay, now that we've finally got that clipped together. Oh, sometimes, y'all, like, the struggle, the sewing struggle is so real. Like, it is. It's so real. And then there's also the way that you clip them. You know, when you're cutting your fabric out and everything, and then you gotta realize that sometimes one side doesn't match the other completely. Like, you cut it out to match, and then what happened? Yeah. Sometimes that happens. But that's when it gets corrected, when you're folding the pieces over. You know what I mean? That is what happened. So, and like I was saying, there are different styles. A bandeau or bandeau. And I do, obviously, when you see my hand come up here, that is back stitching. Sometimes the thread gets a little stuck, and then we get to unstick it. So, anyway, now we will be coming close to the end of this soon. It's fun to do. I'm telling you, it really is. You have to be able to have a focal point for your focus point. Focus on your focals. But I wear bifocals. I actually do. I wear a bifocal lens. And does that really bother me? No, it don't. Sometimes you need that, especially if you do a lot of sewing and everything. Trust and believe that bifocal helps. So, okay, now we have this side, right? Now let me show you this, right? You see how you got that little extra right there? Compared to, it didn't happen too much here. It happened a little bit, but not as much. So now we can go ahead and stitch these two panels together as soon as I can get that in. We're not in the wind. We can hold fabric and stuff. How embarrassing, right? I think some of you know what I'm talking about. Embarrassing. Embarrassing. Okay, because if you see right here how that actually shapes the armhole, it shapes an armhole. It does. How else can you make a band out? Well, you can actually take a tank top. If you didn't know this, I'm about to let you know. You can actually take a tank top for clothing cloning. You can do that. This is not a clone your clothes piece. This is from a simplicity pattern that I have obviously used a lot. Now, I'm trying to go in a 1/2 inch seam allowance. 1 inch or 1/2 inch. Because the person that I'm actually making this for is Treasure from Cursed Cosmetics. And she is fabulous. Oh, my other video. By the time this one's up, that'll be up already. Remember, when you're doing this, sometime, gotta remember, keep it even as possible, because sometimes it won't want to stay that way. Don't forget we're sewing pieces under. Yes, I'm looking at you doing this at the same time, because I can tell right there in the camera. If you're an experienced seamstress like myself, you can do this. If you're experienced like myself at sewing a lot of things. So now we're gonna take this, and then I'm gonna turn this right side out for a minute just to like give you the full jets on what this looks like. And then what we're going to do next is get those shoulder pieces together. Now, I originally just thought of putting straps on this, and I'm like, you know what? No. You know what? No. I could. Now, I did this back panel a specific way for a specific reason. Because you have options here with this particular piece. Now, when I go to fold this back, right? Remember, I was showing you all this. Like, first of all, on this one, you can, and yeah, I could iron this, but this is not necessarily gonna stay pressed open like other fabric. So you can just do this, and let me bring you over here, right down over here, so that we gotta get this to sit. Okay. Now, when we go to do this part, like I said, the clips are amazing. Take it in. Make sure that you have that rolled back as good as possible. And we really need to, because we're gonna sew the arm parts together, the shoulder pieces. So what I actually want to do first, before I do that, is I want to literally sew this piece along in the front to trim it back. That is my plan on that. So we can do that. Okay. So we have to do that over here. And try to make sure that you get this as close as possible to the other side, because if you don't, it's going to look wonky. We don't want that. We do not want wonky wear. No, actually, I almost wore my Wheeze wear shirt. Oh crap! I have to reach down and get that one in a minute. I almost wore my Wheeze wear shirt today, but I was like, oh my gosh, that's gonna have to be in the fall because it is too hot out. It was in the 90s again, which I don't mind. It's just the heat index itself made it feel more like it was in the hundreds of the temperature I'm used to from where I was raised. So, okay, we got that in the front. Now let's go throw it on the machine. Okay, now that we have this right side out again, okay, I'm just going to move this one over here. Now for this time, instead of using the serger stitch, which is my favorite stitch on this machine, I have switched it over to straight stitch. Now, why do I do that for this kind of material when I'm doing it? I want it to look extremely clean. You want this to look clean. You want your product to always look clean. Now on this part, the seam allowance I did was 1/8 of an inch. That way it's very clean, very precise. I'm pretty sure you get it. But for those of you that are beginners, okay, don't try the harder ones, okay? You can find easy simplicity patterns. And when you use a pattern, they can be a bit confusing for some people. Trust me, the older patterns, those vintage patterns, especially the ones with no markings, but it's already cut out. Oh gosh. I have some of those. I really do. Love the sleeve they come in. I really do. I love the sleeve they came in. I do use some of them. Now, the little thing I did right there, taking that and tugging it, if you can't get your fabric to go forward, tug it just slightly, and it should go forward. Better forward than to look back and repeat yourself. Yes, better to go forward than to look back and repeat yourself. So, okay. Now we have these pieces right here, right? Now before I do that, I'm going to do the same thing here as I did in the front. I'm going to go ahead, tuck this back, tuck back, open sesame. We're going to clip this. We're going to sew this. Yes. Yes, we are. Okay, now for this piece right here, right, the armhole itself. Now what I am going to do for the armhole is I'm literally going to roll this back, because we need to roll back better than Walmart. We do. Sometimes Walmart's out of control on their prices. Okay, so what I want you to do for this is go ahead and do that, okay? Now, at this point, quite frankly, if you decided you want to end up putting like some little lacy piece in here, you could do that, but you know, like this fabric, I'm not going to do some sort of lace on it, even though I have it. So what I am going to do is this. Like I said, I'm going to fold those pieces, but what I have to do is I have to lay it correctly first, because y'all, this is a task. Ooh, this is gonna be gorgeous. Like, treasure, if you don't want it, Mariel does. You give it to Mariel. Although, I'm sure y'all might be like, oh my gosh, that's too pretty, I want that. I love you both. I really do. So, like I said, you can go ahead and stitch this, but then you'll straight stitch it again. That's why I want to, and this might be a little hard to do, so we'll be back with that. Okay, so I kind of changed my mind on something. Remember what I said about that, if it don't go. Sometimes you'll get like this extra strand of thread, which is weird. We have that there, scooch it forward just a smidge. Again, you're going to go on 1/8 of an inch. That was weird. Sometimes that will happen. And then we're going to do this on all 4 of the sides before we actually create the armhole piece, right? Like I said, sometimes you get this extra strand of thread in there, and I think that's kind of like weird. It's weird, trust me. I've had that happen before. Like where did this come from? Anyway, you won't be able to see that when I'm done anyway. So I'm going to do that on all 4 sides. That way, when I roll this back, that's fully stable. You can clip them down and go ahead and sew those pieces together, and we will be back with that. And now we can clip those together and start creating our armhole. Like I said, this is going to be much easier. A lot of people wouldn't think that this would be much easier, but once you do that, like I said, you can roll this back extra. You really can. You can roll that back extra on both sides because, you know, some people do that. But what I am going to do is go ahead and run with the seam allowance that goes around the whole thing. And I'm only doing that because I realized, okay, that would be a better stabilization for this area. And why am I doing that? Because I want to stabilize that area. That's not always my air conditioner that does a little, like, blinky blinks, by the way. So yeah, we're going to do this. And then what I will do is I will roll this back as I'm stitching. Now I would like to keep these open, but I'm not always going to get the chance to do that on the whole entire thing. Now what you need to do is make sure you have enough room there for an armhole. This is why we test. This is why we test. Is that big enough for an armhole? I don't think it is. No. And you know what? That's why I test this. Because sometimes when you're cutting out your pattern, that's when it comes in. Yeah, that's when it comes into you have to lay this back out. And where are you actually going to put this? Or do you really want that strap? Strap it or not to strap it. But we're just not going to scrap it. That's true. We're not going to scrap this. So I think what I'm going to do here is because that would end up just being stitched right here in the corner, and I don't want to do that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take it back over here, or just grab a piece and, well, no, I got to take it back over there. Grab a piece. We'll be back with the piece that I put on here for this part, and I know where that piece is, and we'll be back with that. Okay, and now that we're back over here, I do have it. I'm just thinking about doing some common arm banding. Now, I have this wide and very beautiful section of this panel that I can use, but I'm thinking, like, I already have this in here. I already have like this in here. What I don't have in here is this. Now, would that make good for the arm banding? Absolutely, because I'm not doing the common version of it, and if I did, even though I found the pieces for that, it's like that part of the pattern is a little confusing. So we don't want confused things like that when we can just make our arm banding out of this and have it, again, beautiful, decorative, so matchy to the whole motif going on in this fabric, which so far I have to say I like this. I really, really like it. So so what we're going to do is just go ahead and cut that. Like I said, I would love to have the other pieces, but I don't think that I have enough to go ahead and be able to cut that. Now, if I did, absolutely I would. So, on this particular fabric, they have little sections in there. I have the other big piece of it over there on my dress form. And why did I just cut that off? No. I was going for the thinner. You know what though? I was actually thinking I have to cut that little piece off anyway. So is that really going to matter? No, not really. So when you make your, you know what? I'm going to say it like Bob Ross. It's a happy accident. It really is. That is a happy accident. Because I don't need this little section right here. So there is that. So as soon as I do that, and then I want to try to match that up really nice. That way, because like I said, the other part, no, like it's confusing as crap. Now we have this, and when you go to do the arm banding with a piece like this, there are several different variations, and don't worry, we will take up the bottom. And when I go to take up the bottom, what I might do, because I want this more like a bandeau for her, I can always take it up further because she just wants it to cut right under her bust. So, let's get back to this part. Gotta lay this out. And now when we go to lay this out like this, we have to make sure that it's absolutely laid out as good as possible, as perfect as possible. Nothing's ever really perfect, but this is what we got to do for this piece. And like I said, now to do the arm banding with this piece, let's not forget to snip that off right there. Okay, we got that out of the way. Now when we go to do this arm banding, what I will do first is I will stitch it down. No, we gotta like do the edges, stitch them down. And when I go to do that, what I will do is I will fold in the decorative black and white areas on here, stitch that, and then what we will have is that strap that's like that, otherwise known as an armband. There's different variations of what we call an armband. Now, and then when I go to do that, what I will do is I will connect that on both sides. That will be the strap on there. And so I'm going to get this on the machine, cut it to size, and get it on here. And then when we come back from that part, we will finish up the bottom. So let's get that done. Okay, now that I got that done, isn't that pretty? Okay, I had to turn this inside out to sew it, and then right side out to bring it back out like this. Obviously, it is beautiful. Now, what we have to do is remember to keep that part in the back, because that is where your hemline is, which is beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. So now what I do is I go like this, fold this in half, grab your scissors, and you're like, no, yeah, you have to. That's how you get an equal strap for each side. So now that we have that, we can strap it on and be strappy people. Strap it on. You're thinking wrong. That's not my fault. So, no, it's not. Strap on, strap on, strap on, strap on. The strapper. Yeah. Oh gosh. You just have to be goofy these days, I swear. Like, if you're not a goofy-minded person, you should be. It helps. Open-minded, funny, try to be funny, just joke around. It's like, I swear, some people in this world just don't get it anymore. Like, sarcasm, humor, joke, haha, So, there is that. And then I'm going to say put it about there. And then we'll try my arm through the hole again. And okay, let's get you clipped on here. Okay, so let's see how she be. Woo, look at that. That's great. So, okay, we're going to work that in there, and like I said, I think this is going to look fabulous on Treasure. Like I said, Treasure, if you don't like this one, this is just a mock-up. If you don't like this one, give it to Mariel, give it to your friend, give it to one of your friends. It doesn't matter. It's what mock-ups are for, honey. That is what a mock-up is for. You guys know I love making a wearable mock-up. And if I can make somebody happy, right? Gosh darn right. I love to make people happy. I love to come up with ideas for people, and I really like making people happy. That's, and I also love to teach. Nothing wrong with teaching. Teaching is something good. In my mind, you can never learn enough. But that's just me. That's just me. That's how I think. You don't have to think like I think. Be yourself. Absolutely be yourself. If you aren't yourself, then you don't know who you are. You have your own journey. That's how life should be, right? Have your own life journey. So let's get this one on. This side on this one. And then we will see if the straps hold the same. Are they even? They about the same. Let me see here. Yes. Yeah, so back to the machine. Now, remember, when you're doing this, try your best. Now, it might be a little hard. This is true. That when you're sewing the strap on here, you want to try to follow. This is an example. You want to try to follow the exact stitching that you did originally. Otherwise, it's going to turn out a bit like this, and we don't want that. So I can use my shirt that I'm wearing as a perfect example of why you have to pay attention to where you're stitching. That turned out okay. Now you can also sew this from the front side. Just go ahead and leave it the way it is and not turn it inside out. So let me show you that part. Remember to put these over here. That helps. No, that really does help. Now when you're doing a piece like this, and that was like the perfect example of showing you why it's good to face these a certain way. Because you want to try your best to match that up with your hemline, right? You want to match that up as good as possible. Go ahead and hold the strap down. Strap down. Okay. Make sure that's in there. Go ahead and turn. Turn, don't be a turd. Nobody likes being a turd. Oh my gosh. Okay, even when you're sewing from this part, the same thing can happen. Okay, I'm not going to lie to you about that. The same thing can happen like here. And quite frankly, I did sew this, front side up. But if you're wearing or going to be wearing a darker fabric like this, and somebody's coming up, and I'm not going to really say that this fabric is dark. It's kind of bright in a way, if that makes any sense, because it does have a little brightness. If somebody is that close to you, they need to step away because they're too close in your zone of your privacy of you. Nobody needs to be standing that fucking close to you. Because it's kind of invasion of space. Space invaders. Not the video game, but people can sometimes be space invaders. You know what I mean? I trust and believe I have gone through the space invaders issues. Now, like I said, thinking about this. When you're doing this and you're having to hold that, remember to hold it at least so you get an inch away from that metal piece. Because you're going to hurt yourself if you don't. And we don't want that. We don't want that to happen. Okay. So, this way. Yes, I just did that way. And you know why? Because it saves you from the headache from trying to figure out how in the hell do I get this strap off of there. It really does. So when you sew that a certain way, that really does help. So let me get these off here. And when we come back, I'm going to finish up the bottom and then show it to you. Now that we are in the home stretch here, now remember what I said. Not by much. I went right back. Awesome. Awesome. Okay, like I said, we are in the home stretch of this, which means the bottom of this garment trying to keep this stitch as straight as possible, because you know, what in the world? Anyway, who knows? It was probably just my hair. Now, where that thicker fabric is at the hemline, sometimes that can be a little difficult with stretchy material to get that over that. So that's why you see me go like this to help. That's where we have that little stitch thing with the first one, right? Is because sometimes that's a little too thick for the needle and you gotta give it a little tight. Sometimes. There's nothing wrong with that. Now that we're almost done, now that it's done, oh my gosh, Treasure, I made this because I know this is, well, it's just a mock-up of one thing. I am giving this to Treasure. So when she puts this on, because she's a double D, this will fit her like more up here like she wants. So Treasure, if you get to watch this video, let me know what you think. Everybody, kindly in the comments below, would you wear a shirt like this? I think it turned out super, super cute. It's not for my size because I'm big. But you know what? Make yourself so happy. Have some clothes made for you. Or if you sew, so make yourself happy. I hope you like this material. I hope you like this garment. If you don't mind subscribing and leaving a kind comment below. And oh my gosh, don't forget to hit that notification bell. That way you get to see more content from me if you like. If you don't, that's okay too. Also, don't forget this week over for Just Jessica, she's expecting something from me. She's getting married. And what bride wouldn't be complete without her after reception dress? That is what's coming to her. So if you go over and you check her out when that video is up, or just go check her out because she's a smart, cool people. She's my groovy gal. Even my groovy gal would wear this because that's kind of hippie chic. I love that. And you know what though? You can do a reversible where this would be the front. We'll do another video on that another time. But until then, stay happy, stay healthy, stay positive, and as always, stay blessed. I have the rest of just going over to Instagram and showing this to Treasure and hope that she likes this mock-up, because there are other styles of bandos to go around the world. And with that said, I will see you in the next one.